Whether you're a self-taught musician, have a teacher, or you're already a professional, this show is meant to help you with knowledge, mindset, craft, and strategies to improve your overall musicianship so that you can become the best musician you can be, regardless of your goals. Welcome to Musicianship Mastery. Hello and welcome to Musicianship Mastery, episode number 108. My name is David Lane, and it is great to be with you once again. This is part 2 of a series, the series I call Why You Should. The previous episode was why you should be in an ensemble, why you should be in an instrumental ensemble like orchestra or band, or at least have that experience. And today's episode is for any student who has not yet gone to college and the parents or guardians of those students. And this is called Why You Should Go to Summer Camp. I'm recording this and releasing this in early spring, so hopefully it's not too late for you to consider this when you are trying to make a decision about what you're going to be doing as far as summer. But I want to talk about why you should consider going to summer camp. So because we're in spring, you need to enroll soon and enroll for summer camp regardless of your instrument. Now, it is an expense, and some camps cost more than others, but it is worth it. In fact, I'm a member of the Winston-Salem Piano Teachers Association, and we have a scholarship for students who want to do summer learning. And all you have to do to earn that scholarship is to write a one-page essay, pretty much, about why you want to go to this camp and what kind of benefits. In this episode, I'm going to give you the benefits of going to summer camp. And I am sure your community has ways to help you offset the costs, and maybe you can even also look into scholarships and some other grants of ways to help, again, offset the costs of going to summer camp. But even if you have to pay out of pocket, if you can afford the money, it is money well spent. Now I need to offer an important disclosure. Not going to a summer camp as a student is my biggest regret as a musician. I was encouraged more than once. I was even told the names of some camps that I should look into. But the only thing I ever did in the summer, as far as a camp, was the required marching band camp, which was more about marching, a little less about music, although we did practice quite a bit. And I got a lot of benefit from that. And for one thing, I never complained about heat for a while. This was growing up in Florida, and this was being outside in July, marching on the asphalt that was used as a driver's ed parking lot. So yeah, there was a lot of growth, good for me growth that came from that. But that's not quite what I'm talking about. These summer camps are usually mostly indoors. Now, one exception for me was that, and it was only for a weekend, so I hardly count it. But again, I played French horn, and between my last year of high school and my first year of college, I did participate in a British brass ensemble. It was a workshop where I got to play an alto horn for the first time, and also just get some experience with that music. So that's what I'm talking about. But most summer camps are going to be anywhere from a full week to 2 weeks, and maybe an entire month, maybe longer than that. I would say, especially if cost is an expense, look into the ones that are 1 or 2 weeks long. So let me share with you the 4 benefits, why it's a good idea to go to summer camp. The first is that you will be around other accomplished, driven music students. One thing that made me thankful as a high school French horn player and even in middle school were the 3 opportunities that I had to go to all-state band or all-state orchestra. Because frankly, I was a big fish in a small pond. It was a small high school. Many years I was the only person playing French horn. And I was one of only like 2 or 3 people the entire time I was in high school that had a private teacher although my private teacher was for piano, but I was actually one of the few people learning about music theory. So I was way ahead of most of my classmates in terms of just kind of musical experience and just musical aptitude. So going to all-state orchestra or all-state band, where I wasn't the best person playing, and just, I think the first time I went, I might have been last chair or next to last chair. I was able to be around these more advanced musicians and realize what I had left to do to reach a certain standard in that area. So the people who go to summer camps, these are your driven musicians. They're driven musicians, hopefully just like you. And now you're around, I don't want to call it competition, but in some ways it is, especially if you're competing for artist in residence jobs later on, or if you're trying to get a certain chair in an orchestra, they can become competition. But I like to compare this again to athletics. I think there's so many correlations between music and sports. There are always these stories of athletes, for example, that just like they're in football and they just dominate in every high school game. They are so much better than everybody around them that they don't even have to really work very hard in the week to be able to do well in the game. And then because of that, they get recruited to a very competitive college, one that, is likely to compete for a playoff berth and maybe contend for a national championship. And they're recruited along with other players who were in similar situations. And so then they get there and they realize, that they might be behind. They might be in a situation where they haven't learned certain basics, and never mind starting, they're trying to even get off the practice squad into a second or third string for their unit because everybody around them was also the best at their school. So when you go to a summer camp, you get to be around other musicians who are maybe possibly doing more than you've been doing. And you may it may be sobering at first. You may realize I have a long ways to go. But going to these camps is one of the things that will help you bridge that gap. It'll help you take the next step and realize what you need to do, and to not just be comparing yourself locally. The second benefit to going to a summer camp is that you will be challenged. These camps are meant to not just give you something easy to do during the summer, but they're meant to challenge you. So you'll be asked to do music that is harder than what you normally do. You might be given a high volume of work to do in a kind of a short amount of time. And this challenge leads to growth. And that's the second benefit of going to a summer camp. The third benefit is that you will get the experience from teachers other than your usual teacher. And this is such a big deal because you may have a great teacher, but they have one specific way of thinking about everything. And there's no one specific way to think about anything. We have the ways we kind of gravitate towards. And just in terms of pianists, I have very specific ideas about what you should do with your wrist in situations. I have very specific ideas regarding fingering. Well, another teacher may have very different ideas. And I think it's good for my student to hear those different ideas. It's not that you go to summer camp and you learn something that contradicts your teacher, but you just might. And as a teacher, I love it when my students come back and report what they learned and why they learned it. And I might try it and I might say, there's a point there. Maybe I need to rethink what I'm doing. Now, other teachers may not feel that same way, but I personally welcome a new point of view of thinking about things. So getting that experience working with other teachers, just hearing a message in a different way is a great opportunity. So if you go to more than one, you increase the number of teachers you're around, and that can only help the well-roundedness of your music education. All right, the fourth benefit of going to summer camp is that you will experience the satisfaction of working hard. And so now I get to the fairly embarrassing reason why I did not go to summer camp. I didn't like working hard. I didn't like doing the extra work when I was in high school. I think I had to learn that much later than probably most musicians who become successful do. It wasn't in high school. That's not where I gained that work ethic. I wanted summer to be my time off away from school so that I could recover and handle another school year. I wanted to do nothing as much as possible. Maybe ride my bike, maybe go to the beach, watch some TV. That was it. I didn't want to do more. In fact, I practiced less in the summer because my piano teacher didn't offer summer lessons. It really is amazing that I've been able to achieve what I did and get into a college music program just because of all that. There are some myths about taking it easy, and I want to just talk about that. And that is about the myth of comfort and the need to take it easy for rest. You don't actually need to take it easy to get a break. You just need a change of scenery and you need a change of focus. So if you're in school and you're thinking, I'm so tired of going to school, I don't want to go to summer camp, and I just want to take it easy. Well, sometimes taking it easy, and the way I just described, it leaves you more exhausted than it would otherwise. And before you know it, you burn out from the non-stimulus or for a different type of stimulus. You need just to change the type of work, a change of scenery, stimulating the brain by getting the same information in a different way. And it's not like you're going to be doing this the entire summer, but you are pushing yourself in a time when you have time to do it. And the last thing I want to say about getting the satisfaction of working hard, if you want to be good, you can't afford to take it easy because you just don't have that much time. You can't be taking these big times off. So you need to get into the attitude of pushing yourself while you can to grow as much as you can. And a summer camp will provide that. Now, by the way, if you want to go hardcore, look for these 1 or 2 week camps. If you play a wind instrument, a brass instrument or percussion, I would highly look into drum and bugle corps. These are the closest things a musician will get to a military boot camp. It will kick your butt. I don't know from experience because I was too lazy, but one of my best friends did it for years, and he said it changed his life. It changed what he thought was possible about himself. So you can look into that. You can also look into Google for summer camps, summer music camps, and you can look for it by your state, but you don't have to stay in your state. That's the fun part. If you can afford it, there are ones all over the country, and you could travel to a different region and you could study there. There are ones abroad if you, again, want to save up for it. But if money is limited, I'm sure there are ones within 50 miles of where you live, of where you can go to get a summer camp experience. And I will also, before this episode is published, I will look up resources, and if I find anything, I will share that in the show notes that you can do as a shortcut to just using Google for that. So again, why should you consider going to summer camp? It's because you'll be around other accomplished, driven music students. You are going to be challenged, and you will experience working with teachers other than your usual teacher, and you'll experience the satisfaction of working hard instead of just taking it easy. So tell me about your summer camp experience as a musician. I know a lot of you have them. I would love for you to share it with your own voice by going to speakpipe.com/musician toolkit. But you can also tell me in text form by going to my website at davidlanemusic.com and using the contact form near the bottom. So that's going to wrap up today's episode. I look forward to being back with you again next week. Until then, thank you so much for listening.